moving on. I don't have any kids, but some of my friends do, and they've been WhatsApping me very stressed at the fact that they're now teachers and parents, the ones who weren't already primary school teachers, but they're now teachers and parents and chefs and cooks. And one person wrote to me and said, I'm struggling to balance my child's school lessons with life, being a single mum and having a full-time job working from home. What can I do?
That's a biggie, and it is a very difficult situation for a lot of parents, in particular in relation to that question, a single parent. With the lockdown, being stuck in maybe a small house or apartment, trying to do their work, trying to keep their child or children engaged and motivated. And it's actually coming out that one of the biggest challenges since the lockdown was the schools shutting down, or the traditional supports not being there for a period of time, which meant that parents had to kind of take up that slack on top of doing their job. So is coming out as one of the most challenging things at the moment. So how do you create that balance? Well, I think the key is right there, to try and create balance. So being aware of, actually you can't do it all. Yeah. So you're never going to be able to give your child school from 9 to 2:30 as it was, and do homework and cook and clean. It's just not going to happen. So how to create a balance where, what's good enough? What's enough to fit in some homework, some structured homework, alongside some work. So the teachers, when we get back into it, won't be expecting like that the child was there all the time in school getting schooling. So that's good to know, that it's not about trying to drive perfectionism, trying to get it all done like you are a teacher. We're not teachers. We're not trained in it. So it's just doing bits here and there throughout the day where possible, and making it as much fun as possible. I know I wasn't a huge fan of school. I had dyslexia, so that was quite challenging at the time. But there are some brilliant stuff that you can access now that's very creative, very imaginative. And sometimes this is where the internet and technology is just brilliant.
Yeah, the way, like before this, like giving your child an iPad or a screen was almost demonized, like you were kind of outsourcing your parenthood. Do you think that like necessarily that has to change now, and actually giving your child a screen, one, could be hugely important for your mental health, to give yourself a break, but also kids can learn through the internet. It's not always a bad thing.
Definitely. And I think it's impossible to take screens away completely. Again, that's not realistic. They're very, very useful for many things, again, because of the internet. And actually, a lot of schooling is being done through the internet at the moment. So again, I think that the key here is a bit of balance. So, it's not okay just to give them a screen and leave them there to their own devices. Yeah, that's not okay. But without doubt, they do need a little bit more screen time now, just to do their schooling or to be creative. Just because we're in the lockdown period, I mean, most kids really just want to get out and have a play and be with their mates and have good fun. That's starting to ease up now over the next number of weeks, which is great. With the 5K. But yeah, so again, I don't think parents need to be too hard on themselves or worry too much about their child having too much screen time. It's about, what are they doing with it? What's the screen time? What are they watching? And that's always a watch out for parents, regardless of what's going on now. Is it good quality? Is it enhancing them in some way? Because there is, as you said, Stefanie, some great stuff out there to help them.